I blacked out, said yes, and I woke up with 2 slices of pizza in Slovenia.
Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of the Quarantine Sessions, where I chat to people a lot cooler than myself in the wonderful land of lockdown. Now, my guest this week is a band from, funnily enough, my neck of the woods, who are leading the charge as ska punk takes its rightful place back in the public zeitgeist. They're known for their energetic live shows and honest songwriting. It is my pleasure to introduce the most handsomest band working today. Call me Malcolm.
Thanks, man. I would like to start by just pointing out to your viewers that we are not cooler.
I mean, the bar is so low on this show that you probably are. I'm wearing a Simpsons t-shirt and Simpsons shorts, so that's either really cool or really lame, depending on your outlook. So,
I mean, we're right in the generation where that's still cool. We're fine with that.
Very good, very good. But how are you guys doing in these strange times?
Getting by, yeah. We're okay. Day to day, I think, as everybody is, spending most of my time certainly worrying about other people.
Yep.
And the hellfire that the world is quickly becoming. But
I don't know where I'm going with this.
It's anyway. a light start to the interview.
Yes. So how are we going to solve the COVID-19 situation? Moving on.
Are we on the task force? This is awful. Of all the people they could select, I mean, you seem fine, but not us.
I mean,
please don't choose us.
At least ska punk brings some levity to the situation. We're just miserable old buggers who talk to bands cooler than us. But anyway, moving on to less tangents. For the unfortunate few who haven't heard of you, would you mind introducing yourselves and call me Malcolm?
Well, it's very, very good of you to describe them as a few people that haven't heard of us.
They're very unfortunate for sure.
How we describe ourselves? Let's see. We started out as most ska punk bands, certainly of our generation, do, modelling themselves on that third wave explosion in the late 90s. So took a lot of cues from Less Than Jake and Goldfinger. And over the years, we've kind of gotten a lot heavier and a bit darker in places, a lot more minor keys. And lyrically, we've kind of opened up and, started talking very openly about mental health and writing about our own struggles and monsters and that kind of thing. So, that's us in a nutshell. Depression with trumpets.
That is a good way of putting it. And what are your roles in the band?
I play guitar and I sing.
And I play saxophone and I try to sing too.
Very good, very good. It's the effort that counts. And in the effort of getting to know each other a little bit better, because we're all friends here. I mean, Luke and I apparently are neighbours, so that's something I found out today. But in the effort of getting to know each other a little bit better, I have to ask the question. It is a hard-hitting question for a hard-hitting start of the interview. If you could be a type of sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you be?
And these food questions always throw me. I got asked what kind of...
I mean, how long have you got? Tuck yourself in. I'm a foodie, man. This is going to be a while.
Hit me with those gourmet Sammies.
Oh, where do you start? I saw like this guy on like Sunday Brunch the other day who was talking about like making takeaway like remnants but into sandwiches. I was like, I haven't made that yet, but like I'm fully on board with that as a concept.
Yep.
Favorite sandwiches though, like
I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be favorite sandwich. It could be a sandwich that represents your personality.
Oh, okay.
It's like a Rorschach test, but tastier.
I don't know, man. Like, I think I'm pretty straight down the line. I think I'll probably be like a tuna mayo. I think I'm just like
can't knock a tuna mayo.
That would be me. No, you can't. No, like
no. Dig it. What about you, Luke?
I don't know. Cheap service station sandwich, probably. Just
as in reliable and there when you need it.
Yeah, I mean not the angle I would have taken, but I do appreciate that.
Anytime.
I'm just overpriced and everywhere.
Oh, that's got to end up on the album somewhere. It's like
that sticker's on the front of the CD for the new record. Yeah,
if you ever take a quote from us to put on the CD
everywhere.
Anyway, but speaking of the new record, at the time of recording your new album, Me, Myself, and Something Else has been out for just over a few days. What can people expect from this release?
Absolute bangers.
Damn straight.
It's heavy. I mean, we recorded in Folkestone as well. So in our neck of the woods. But our producer Oz works with Risky and the Ridicule, who are relatively local as well.
Is that Oz of Feed the Rhino fame?
That is Oz.
Yes. Hidden Track Studios. So
I see.
I've been recording with him for years. With our first band, we did a couple of records with him, and then this will be our third time in the studio with Malcolm. But anyway, that was the point of saying, he really excels with that heavier music, and as we were writing the songs for it, it was coming out a bit heavier. I think we just sort of didn't shy away from going down that road.
It's kind of after the last one as well, wasn't it? Because like the last one we kind of wrote not really knowing how it was going to sound with Oz's, because it had been a while since we'd been in the studio with Oz, and so we weren't really we kind of wrote a bunch of songs and then went in there and we kind of heard them on monitors coming out of like all of his stuff and just kind of went, we need to write an album that's much heavier next time. This is great.
Because that's the thing, is that there is a proper gap in the market for ska with a bit more bite, and I definitely think you guys feel that, because it's not something I've ever really considered before. Because as you say, ska is this often on the upbeat. It's more chirpy. Obviously, the third wave had like sort of big West Coast feels, but I definitely think it's got that basis in sort of political strife and civil rights and social justice and everything else. So I think it is a heavier genre than a lot of people give it credit for.
Yeah, I think the when it got big, there was a tendency to kind of label it as, the mozzarella stick meme that's been going around, where Scar's what a kid hears when he's been given mozzarella sticks. That one. There's a kind of I think it was probably falsely labeled as that, because some of the bands that really made it big, if you didn't really dig into it at all, because of the brass section and because it's got that natural rhythm, that natural dancey rhythm, it was kind of has been mislabeled in the past as something of a quirky genre. But there are it's got a history of being political, and there's plenty of bands out there at the moment, certainly over our way, and in the US as well, that have opened up and gone darker or gone political and that kind of thing. So we, from our point of view, we were just doing what excited us, and being honest as musicians. We wanted to write, we were naturally wanted to write heavier songs, and we wanted to write riffs that excited us. And every time we wrote something, if we didn't look at each other with big grins on our faces in the rehearsal studio, then we'd just throw it in the bin and we'd start again. And then lyrically, as we were
17 rewrites of every track.
Well, that's not necessarily an understatement as well. We were writing for 18 months, and that was solidly for 18 months, because we'd write a song, we'd demo it, we'd put it on the shelf for 2 weeks whilst we worked on something else. We'd come back to it, and again just gave it with that kind of gained objectivity of a couple of weeks. We'd just say, all right, I like that bit, I hate everything else. Everything else goes in the bin. We take that bit out and we build the song again, bigger and stronger and better. And I think all the songs, just having gone through all that process for every song, I think every song benefited from that,
I think it's also the thing about when you're doing it, and we talked a lot about this the last time, and it's always rung true when we kind of did this entire writing process, was that before anyone else hears it, you will listen to these songs 200 times, like before anyone ever hears them. And so if you don't love them to pieces, because you will then hear them 200 times afterwards, and if there's something you don't like or something that catches your ear or something you're like, oh, I could have, maybe I should have, you know, if there's anything like that in your head, you're just like, in the bin.
Absolutely.
Do it again. And it's so frustrating, but it is rewarding when you kind of get to that point where you're like, no, I just love every second of it. Like, that's it. That's the one I want to put out. Like,
absolutely.
And I mean, that's so true as well. Like with the sorry to interrupt, Tom.
No.
It just reminded me though. With the songs on Broken, this isn't to say that we dislike any songs on the album before this one. We love it to pieces, and it holds a very, very special place in our heart. But it said something about the how more rigorous we were with this album, and had to be with this album, because after a year of playing those songs, you know, every live show, and we started just adding in a little harmony here that isn't on the album, or, you know, doing something a little bit different over here, or adding in a slight break or a tempo change, because ultimately we realized actually that kind of excites us a little bit more. And, you know, we try not to do it too much, because the songs, you know, when people come to shows, they want to hear the songs, not, you know, some brand new incarnation that we've made. But yeah, Mark's absolutely right. We knew we were going to be hearing these songs and playing these songs for years, and so unless we were absolutely excited every time we heard it, you know, and that's why we threw so much stuff in the bin. Our bins were overflowing
with lyrical trash. But I'm sure it was the best kind of trash.
Oh no, the lyrics were me, so they're all genius. It was all the music.
Of course,
that we
absolutely. So was it a frustrating process having to be so rigorous and so meticulous over every minute detail of the music? Or was it more rewarding to have the time to do that?
This is a confession now, because I was about to say no, but go on, Mark.
What have I done?
Go on.
There was. This is the end. This is the beginning of the end. You're literally filming it.
We're going to break up via YouTube.
You hate to see it.
It's one of those things. There were not like always frustrating or anything like that, but there were like a few times where we were in the practice room, and I think there's always the benefit of hindsight, where you just kind of look on everything with, you know, like rose-colored spectacles. But like at the time, I do remember there were just some days where we were just like, like, we know it's wrong. I don't know why it's wrong. Why is it wrong? Like, and it was hours. Like, one of the things that you do loads as well, which you'll obsess over, like a transition between like a verse and a chorus, or a chorus and a middle eight, and you'll be like, no, it's wrong. I don't know why it's wrong. I can't articulate musically why it's wrong, but you can all hear it, and we all don't like it, and every other option we've been through in the repertoire doesn't work either. Like, we've done stupid things on this record, which actually, if you said it before we wrote it, like, you're going to put 2 key changes in that, you just go, no, you're not. Like, that's stupid. Like, don't do that. Like, but it's the reason why it works at the end.
Yeah.
What's it? What You Burn? Like, they're just going up a step twice is actually the reason why that track works. But that was one of the ones that was really frustrating, because I remember sitting there with you and Trev, Luke, and we just went through it over and over, and we're just like, nah, it just sounds flat at the end. Why? Like, but yeah. So yeah, stuff like that. Like, it's a bit frustrating, but like, yeah, it's super rewarding when you kind of get into it. But sometimes there are like hours where you've obsessed over a second, and you're like, oh yeah, I really achieved something.
The obsession point is absolutely bang on, because I do get these fixations, and I would be lying in bed. Like, we would just been in the studio, you know, writing, and for the rehearsal studio writing. And I know if there's that bit that's not working, or you know, we've gone away and we know like this section or this bit isn't quite right, I know that what I will be thinking about as I try and fall asleep is that section. And when your brain gets into like musical work mode, forget about sleep. So I'd be lying awake in bed until 1, 2 in the morning, just thinking about it. And this would go on. This went on for 18 months of just trying to rewrite these sections. So I can't tell you the release you feel when you've been doing that so solidly and had your sleep disrupted so much that finally when you know that last day of the studio with Oz and we're done and we finish it, and we've actually got footage of us doing it, and like,
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, we finished and I think I remember getting home that day and just being like, we finished. Oh my god, we finished.
I was going to say, was it a relief
out.
or was it more like, oh my god, it's out of our control now, like we've just got to let it be out there now?
No, when once you've worked with us so closely, and once you know, we knew how it was, we already knew how it was sounding, and you know, he'd done Broken and he'd done so many other great records, the Risky records. Once it's in Oz's hands, that's when you stop worrying, because you can't fuck it up anymore. Like, you know, we're not going to ruin it anymore. It's fine. Oz will save us.
Brilliant. Well, I can say after listening to the album several times since last Friday, all the effort was definitely worthwhile. It is my favorite Malcolm album.
Thank you.
That's very kind of you to say. Thank you.
And I will accept payment by form of cash in hand. Anyway,
I can do that. You're down the road.
Of course, yeah. Just get carrier pigeon or something. But anyway, obviously no one can tour at the moment, which obviously sucks. But looking back to better times, I want to know, have you got any crazy tour stories or playing live stories that you can share with the world?
Talking to the wrong band about crazy tour stories, man. We were nicknamed when we went on tour with Slackers last year. We stayed with a friend of ours who plays in Eat Defeat. So we were playing Leeds, and by about 2 a.m, as we're thinking about bedtime and getting up for work, getting up for the drive the next day, and not drinking too much, he turned around and was just like, "You're like a diet punk," which is absolutely true. Our mantra on tour is "leave no trace." You know, we're staying around people's houses and stuff. We clean, we wash up. You know, we don't want to be a burden. So, crazy tour stories. Mark? Oh, I did think of one.
We drove to Slovenia, a 2,500 mile drive for a 30-minute set. I mean, that's pretty fucking stupid.
That's pretty intense. Where was the nearest show other than Slovenia?
The nearest, I think the 2 shows before it, I mean, this was not our tour manager, I'd like to say, this is us organising it. Our 2 shows beforehand were Rebellion in Blackpool and then Boomtown.
That is quite the round trip. Yeah, wow, that is... I'm speechless. How was Slovenia? Was it a good 30-minute set?
Oh, it was awful. No.
I mean, all of us have said we would do. I would do it tomorrow. Well, I couldn't do it tomorrow because it takes 2 days to drive there.
And also, there's no planes anywhere.
Yeah, true.
No, like one of the greatest gigs of our lives. Like genuinely one of the greatest shows we've ever played.
Awesome.
I think probably compounded by the fact that we had to drive so far to get to it.
Well, that's it.
But no, Luke, what was your actual story?
No, it's not an actual story. It's the closest we've come to a crazy story, which is like so I have a camper van, which my wife and I have a camper van, which we take out on the road with the band. So there's not a lot of room for gear. So when we have to take full backlines, things become a bit of a squeeze. And the point of starting with that is that all the stuff in the middle of the van, you've got the passengers sat like 2-3 meters back, all this stuff in the middle piled almost to the ceiling, and then the driver and the navigator, which is always me and Mark anyway, at the front. So the guy, we end up having to text each other from the back to the front because we can't hear anything that's going on at the back. And the guys in the back start, yelling, trying to get our attention. And we establish via text that there's some kind of noise, some kind of knocking at the back.
Right.
I'm like, this is a camper van. things wobble and fall off and all the time. This is not unusual. And they keep complaining about this knocking. I'm like, well, it might be the bike rack on the back. Maybe one of the clips has come off and it's just knocking. And they're insistent that something is very, very wrong. And I'm very, very dismissive, like, it's all wobbly, don't worry. And then we
I would like to also add, it is really windy. Like this, because I was driving and it was super windy as well. So I kept on saying, I was like, I'm fairly sure it's the wind, like, because it's just a crosswind. And so like, and they're like, no, the van's like wobbling like that from the back. I'm like, yeah, it's the wind. Like, it's a really windy day. And I'm like, nah, like that. Like.
So eventually Trev, our bass player, sends us a video and you can hear very clearly over the audio from the back, this like, which is really loud in the back, and we couldn't hear at all. So we're like, oh, God's sake, bloody rhythm section complaining about everything, you know. All right, there's a knocking. We'll pull in. So we pulled into the next services, inspect the tire, and half of the outside of the tire has just peeled off in this one continuous strand, which has been
like an orange peel, like genuinely,
like an orange peel
has just been peeled off. Like.
And the knocking was this bit of rubber, just bam, 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 and it had it cracked.
That banging was the only thing keeping it on the tire at that point. Like.
It had cracked the plastic under the wheel arch. Anyway, we get a very nice tire fellow to come out and fix the tire, and he says, "Yeah, you probably had about a mile and a half in that before it would have exploded."
Bloody hell.
Yeah. So very, very nearly, quite a wild story.
We nearly had a proper story. It would have been great.
I would also like to button this tale. With the fact that we still arrived after changing the tire, breaking, having a coffee. We still arrived an hour and a half early for the show because that's how Malcolm rolls. We get on the road early. We arrive early.
Diet punks till you die.
Absolutely. I would not change. I'm too anxious a person to change.
It reminds me like when you were emailing the woman and you were kind of saying to her like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I think we're only going to be 2 hours early for sound check." Like, just like, okay.
I think we might have still arrived before she did, actually.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, that's definitely our MO. Open before the doors are open.
I can relate wholeheartedly. It reminds me, do you ever have when you were a kid, you had those things you'd put in the spokes of your bike to make it sound a bit like a motorbike? It sounds like the VW version of that.
Yeah, we definitely sounded and drove like a motorbike for a while.
That is pretty punk rock. Anyway, here at UDS, we don't just talk about music, we talk about the breadth of pop culture. So movies, TV shows, video games, anything and more. So with that in mind, if you could have a Call Me Malcolm song featured in anything, whether it be any of the above or even like a wrestling theme, anything like that, what would it be?
Easy mode. Tony Hawk's 1 and 2's just been re-released.
That's what I was about to say.
Moving on. We've got enough to wrap you here. Let's go.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. That is the one thing, because I've spoken to a few bands recently since the announcement of the game that have been like, it would be great to have our tracks on there. And it's the one thing that's let me down about the announcement is that it's only the original soundtrack, which is dope and obviously is shaped a generation of music taste. But that's the thing. It did shape a generation's worth of music taste, and it'd be great to do that again with a whole new generation of bands.
It would be. I think ideologically, that's absolutely spot on. However, the market for that game is people craving that nostalgia, and I think you would have just ended up with a lot of people crying because
where's my Goldfinger?
Yeah, if we could have been one of the bands on there. Like,
we could have been
one of those bands they hated as well. Like
we could have been on the soundtrack, and I would be playing the game complaining because it's not Goldfinger, and it's
where's no cigar? Where is it gone?
Mill and Colin need to be on there. That's fair enough. I love that soundtrack. I've still got calluses on my thumbs from trying to do manuals all day, just pressing up and down on the PlayStation controller. Good times.
I'd love a wrestling theme, though. You got that idea in my head, and I can't shake it.
I mean, we can pitch that, can't we?
Wouldn't it?
That's it. I mean, there is a pretty good British indie wrestling scene at the moment. I think that's definitely a connection to be made.
Oh, let's pitch that. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. I know there is at least one Scar-themed wrestler in WWE, so it wouldn't be out of the question either. So there you go.
I have not been paying attention to wrestling. What I should have done. Backtrack. There's a Scar-themed wrestler.
Yes, there is a Scar-themed wrestler who comes out in checkered tights. 2 steps his way to the ring.
Okay, stop the interview. Stop the interview. I have some YouTube videos to watch.
Sammy's
checkered
really
tights. Checkered tights. Mark, we're getting them. We've got to do this.
God.
Sami Zayn, if you want to look him up. Sami Zayn.
I'm genuinely
Write
making
that
a note. I'm genuinely making a note.
You are very welcome. You are very welcome. Now, obviously, we've waffled for quite a while, but now we've got to get serious.
This is not waffle. This is golden content.
I apologize. I apologize for putting us all down. But this is a serious segment. It is a segment that is as plagiarized as it often goes down badly. It's called Desert Island Discs. Now, you have, obviously, the setup is that you are on a desert quarantined island, I guess, given the situation. You can take one album, one film, and one luxury item, because we ain't got time to do the whole 3 things. So what would they be?
Sorry,
Are you still thinking about wrestling?
Yes, I am. I started panicking, and I met one album. What was the other thing?
One movie and one luxury item.
One luxury item. Does Mark count as my luxury item?
Can do.
You sweetheart.
I mean, that would mean that you.
That is a poor choice of luxury item. I want to say that now.
and it would mean, Mark, that he would have free reign to use you because you are technically an item. So
I do anyway. Why do you think I chose?
Oh dear. Well, before we say anything too incriminating, what would be the album?
So are we going collectively? Do we have to agree?
Because no. It could be individual. I mean,
well, thank God for that. We would have genuinely been here all night. we have rewritten the list 17 times.
Throw most of it in the bin.
It would have taken us 18 months.
We'll have a meeting. We'll come back to you. We'll sort this right out. Don't worry.
And I'm guessing compilations aren't allowed. I just want to establish the rules.
I mean, what were you thinking of a compilation?
I wasn't, but I often think compilation, when you're like, oh, what are your top albums? I often think compilations, it's kind of like that. Oh, if I had a wish, I'd wish for 3 more wishes. Like, it's cheat mode.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think it would just make me feel unwell if I had a compilation album, because it'd be like all my favourite tracks from all my favourite albums, but I can only listen to small bits of it. It's kind of like Bully Special Prize 80 times. Like, I hate that so much.
All right, I'm going to go unless you're ready, Mark.
Be my guess.
Okay, movie. I'm going Dumb and Dumber.
Great choice. Thank you.
It is genuinely one of my top 2 favorite movies. But my other one is much darker, and I think I'd need levity if I was stuck on an album, stuck on a desert island.
Fair enough.
Oh God. I wasn't ready. I just had the movie. Now I'm stranded. Mark, jump in with a movie. Maybe we can.
Thinking about the reason. The reason that I like Dumb and Dumber. Don't play up as fucking Dumb and Dumber, dude. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
jump in, save me. What's your movie?
My movie would probably be Blues Brothers, because it's Blues Brothers. See, that's the justification. Okay.
I mean, 2 great comedy duo films.
Best soundtrack.
Yeah.
Best film, best script, best costumes.
Is that soundtrack your album as well?
No, because there's no point in wasting the choice. You've already got the soundtrack. I don't listen to it on mute. It's a musical. Jesus, tough crowd. Do you see why our meetings take so long?
I mean, I'm having a great time here. Please do continue.
Oh, sorry, Tom. I forgot you were here. I'm so sorry, dude. We'll stop arguing.
Don't mind me.
CD, I'm kind of stuck between two. I think it's Less Than Jake, Borders and Boundaries. I think my other one is kind of Pennybridge Pioneers by Mill and Collin, but I think it's Borders and Boundaries.
Thought you were going to go for Burnt Tapes.
Oh, don't. I would.
Friends of the show.
I listened to that record like a billion times. The last year and this year. Like, God, that record. I love that record so much. Yeah. I think Borders and Boundaries. I'm going to stick.
Great choice.
Again, I am too anxious a person to be put on the spot like this, so I'm going to give you an answer, but I know it's the wrong answer, and I can tell you I know it's the wrong answer because I'm not going to sleep tonight because I will think of 7, 8 other answers that I should have given. But I'm gonna go classic and pay respects where it's due, and also it's absolute banger. I'm gonna go Hang Up's Goldfinger.
Amazing album.
Already hate the choice.
I'm so sorry.
Hate it.
I'm so sorry. It's you gotta go with it now. Weirdly enough, I've been listening to Goldfinger a lot for the past a few weeks, and I've got to say, I think The Knife might be one of their best albums, and it only came out a few years ago.
It's a great record.
It's so
I really
good.
like it.
John Feldman is such a good producer. He's as good a producer as he is a musician. He's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the records sound incredible. Yeah, because he did the Blink record as well, didn't he? And,
he's got such a distinctive sound.
You can just hear it instantly when he's done it, which I think also is a really cool mark of a producer. Like when you can kind of just go, "That's them."
Absolutely, they become a member of the band as much as anyone else. Cool.
What's our luxury item, Luke? I kind of want to know what your luxury item is now, like, and your justification, obviously.
Well, I already chose you. You were my first choice.
Oh, you are actually. That isn't just a piss take. You really are actually choosing me.
Well, no, because I know if I actually choose a genuine luxury item, that's also going to be the wrong answer, and I'm going to worry about 3 answers now instead of just.
I mean, if it's a luxury item, could it be a speedboat to leave the island? Is that a fine answer?
If I had a wish, I'd wish for 3 more wishes. Yeah, get in the bin.
Thank you so much.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I haven't thought out the rules of this too well, so it's pretty fast and loose with what you want.
I would probably.
I mean, this is not a fast round, and I apologize for that.
That's fine.
I know. I would probably take my Nintendo Switch, to be honest. If I had a luxury item, because that just I think one of the best consoles I've ever owned.
100%. What are you playing at the moment?
What am I playing at the moment? I've just been getting well back into Mario Kart recently. Like, I've just been playing online and just spending hours on it. That and Witcher. I've just rinsing that for Very good. How 300 hours of gaming have I not got there faster? Thank you.
Not just a pretty face. So we've got a games console and a literal human being. That's 2 pretty good luxury items right there.
It's I thought about rubbish for him because I am now just sitting playing games. He's taken me to his island, and I will just sit playing games and ignore him.
All right, can I change Mark to a fridge?
Yes, if you like.
There you go. How'd you like that? You're on your own now. Fuck you.
With the fridge, I take it'd be fully stocked. What would be in the fridge?
Oh, well, that's multiple. I mean, this is 3 more wishes again. What would it be filled with? Just give me 10 minutes.
Because otherwise, it's going to be a copy of Dumb and Dumber on DVD and sand.
I can't think of a more deserving prize for me.
A fridge of sand.
A fridge of sand, yeah, but very cold sand. Think about how good that would be to lie on. If I'm allowed something in it, I would take beers because why not? Some IPA.
Nice and safe. But beer makes us happy, and we like to advocate positivity here at UDS, and that's what I call a good segue. And one of the ways we advocate positivity here at UDS is with inspirational quotes. One of my favorites is, "I can't believe I ate the whole thing." Because if you keep reminding yourself that, then whatever you're doing in life, you will eat the whole thing. But what would be your inspirational quotes to share with the world?
I
don't quite want to put a pin in that and move past it.
Go on.
I can't believe I ate the whole thing.
Yeah, because think of any facet of life. Sometimes you might not think, "Oh, can I eat the whole thing?" You just keep trying, and you will.
Just keep trying.
That is genuinely our drummer's attitude to the largest Papa John's pizza that they sell.
Oh my god! Yeah. Oh, you have. Yeah,
we had a writing weekend for the last album, and like so basically we stayed at Luke's house, and we were just like, oh well, our old practice space was just around the corner, and so it was like, well, we'll all stay at Luke's, around the corner from Luke's place. So we just like, we'll stay at Luke's, and then we'll this is when you were up in Orpington way, and it was like, and so. He was like, we were talking about, in the evening, we'll just play games and like order pizzas and stuff. And he was like, I'm ordering my own pizza. I'm not sharing. And I was like, okay. And just like ordered the biggest pizza and then just like had the whole thing and then just filled himself with regret for the next 3 hours. Going, I had too much pizza. But apparently he does it every time. Like every time he eats pizza.
But he always blacks out before the last 2 slices. So he'll have his first mouthful, black out. Suddenly he'll be staring at 2 slices and just being like, "Oh no, I've only got 2 slices left."
Well, I've got to do it. I've come this far.
Going back to The Simpsons, it reminds me when Homer tries to eat 64 slices of American cheese and goes blind.
Oh, there's so many good Simpsons quotes as well. Just like when they've got the donut machine when he's in hell as well. It's like, I didn't think he would get this far.
That's no man. It's an eating machine.
Every band
needs another episode,
like
I think.
Yes, it is. That's when it's the all you can eat fish restaurant, I believe. But yeah, I can absolutely relate. When we tried to do a challenge for the channel once, where we tried to eat 100 chicken nuggets each, and being,
100 nugget challenge, classic.
I tried to be Big Billy Bollocks and be like, that's easy. I can do 20 nuggets in 5 minutes. You don't realize you hit a wall after 40, and then that's it. You feel like you are going to die. We did a charity stream staying awake for 24 hours once. I felt more bodily harm from eating 50 chicken nuggets than from staying awake for 24 hours.
It's just reminding us of our drummer now. Go on, how many nugs could you do right now? How many nugs?
It's got to be done. You got to try it at least once, and then just live with the regret.
I'm trying to think more inspirational quote. I think like this.
Just live with the regret.
That's not a bad quote. One of the ones we always used to talk about was like, say yes and then think about it afterwards, was always one of the ones that we just kind of like, we had as this kind of mantra for ages. Because it was
more the mantra you were trying to drill into me, because I would overanalyze everything.
But it was just like overanalyzing, overthinking things a lot. And we used to spend lots of time kind of talking, chewing the fat over like, well, what if we did this as a band? What if we did this? What about if we work with this guy? What about if we go and play this gig and stuff? It's just like, just say yes and think about it later. Like, I'm sure it'll be fine. And that's how we ended up in Slovenia. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's not always a good rule.
I blacked out, said yes, and I woke up with 2 slices of pizza in Slovenia.
That's a much better quote. I bought a Papa John's and woke up in Slovenia.
That's why I'm titling this video. Mercy me. So that I'm not letting you do anything else, Luke. That is your quote. So okay. moving on swiftly.
Yes.
None of us can really plan for the rest of 2020. You don't know if you're going to be eating a whole pizza, if you're going to end up in Slovenia, or if you're just going to be stuck at home on your Larry. But as best as you can, what does the rest of 2020 have in store for Call Me Malcolm?
Relentless planning for next year, most likely. We do have some stuff in the books that we haven't been able to announce yet, and we won't be able to announce partly because because the other band haven't announced it, but also because we don't know if it's going to happen. But so us ourselves now, we are looking forward to being on the road in 2021. Hopefully, we're looking at full UK tour, and with a fair wind, we should hopefully be going over the water to the US as well.
Very nice.
We've already started having conversations about that. So, yeah, that's what we'll be doing. Very much looking forward to to next year, and more writing, of course. We will start looking ahead with new material.
Very cool.
Because we've got
cool.
an 18-month hard road ahead of us.
I like the way as well, like you've clearly forgotten how much work's gone into this record since we're already going to write another one. Like
easy.
How quickly we forget.
Yeah.
Anyway, as we wrap up the interview, I don't really want to wrap it up. I'm having a great time. But as we do wrap up the interview, we always end our chats with bands with one question, and that is, we are UDS, which stands for Upside Down Shark. Don't ask me why we're called Upside Down Shark. It's just a name that's stuck, and we're in too deep to change it. But with that in mind, what would be your favorite sharks? And they could be real, they could be fictional, could be something from a movie or something from real life. But what would be your favorite sharks?
You're just send these questions ahead of time next time if you want a smooth.
Can I go, because I know mine.
I'm genuinely interested.
It's the sharks from Nemo, man. It's when he smells the blood and his eyes go like it's. I can't go deep enough to do it, but you know when he makes that really bassy noise that just like rumbles the chair in the cinema, like. Yeah,
I mean,
those sharks.
It's a shark voiced by the only sovereignty I recognise, Dame Edna Everage. So, what's not to love?
I didn't know that.
I'm pretty sure I haven't made that up.
You haven't made that up, yeah. I forget the actor's name, but yes, you are 100% correct.
Are you okay, Mark?
No, I need to go now too. I now need to go and watch that. What? I didn't know this.
There you go. I'm glad I've made your favourite shark even sweeter.
That's amazing. Thanks.
You're very welcome.
I grew up watching a lot of Sharky and George, and that was going to be my first answer, and I should not have thought of it because I've spent the next 3 minutes wondering about if Sharky is actually a shark or not, because I can't remember. So
is that the pink thing? Or am I thinking of something else?
Yeah.
Clearly a big Sharky and George fan.
I mean, I feel like there might be a little bit of a generational divide here because I think this is a little bit before my time.
No, it is the pink shark. Yes, he is a shark. I remember only the theme tune. And I used to love that show. I literally could tell you nothing about it. Like Crime Busters of the Sea, I guess. Like it's kind of like that's literally it. Like what crimes are going on? I don't know, but that's the only thing I remembered. Just the theme tune was definitely better than the rest of it. Top choice though.
This is not as easy to Google as I thought it would be. Oh, yeah. No, there you go. Yeah, Sharky, the bigger fish, is a rather lazy pink shark with a huge nose. There you go. And a Humphrey Bogart-style Federer hat. Thank you.
Done. Sold.
I get the points.
I'm just waiting.
Finding Nemo shark.
Yeah, who won? Did Neale or Luke win?
You remembered yours was a shark, so...
I think the real winner is the time that we get the crossover between the two, which is the crossover I think we all deserve. So... hopefully sometime. Anyway, as we navigate away from Tangent Island, where can people find you online?
I've got to flag this up as well. I am in love with how committed you are to the shark metaphor. The islands, you're in deep. I've picked up on it, and I've just been absolutely in love with it the whole way. So
got to rep the brand.
So much so I missed the question. Sorry, go again.
Where can people find you online?
Oh, online.
Yeah. I mean, you can give us you can do your home address if you want, but yeah, it's probably not recommended.
I was expecting another. What kind of hors d'oeuvre would you be?
We'll go on.
Thinking ahead.
I mean,
go on. Yeah. Please.
What hors d'oeuvre would you be?
Tom, what kind of hors d'oeuvre would you be? See, it's not nice being put on the spot, is it?
Shark steak, I guess, or swordfish. I don't know. Shark metaphors.
Are you just saying the first thing that you see?
Wall steak. I've got a poster of Snake Plissken from Escape from New York. I'm sure I'd like to eat him. Anyway, where were we going?
You can find us on all the major like streaming places in terms of like Spotify, iTunes, all those places for music. The website is callmemalcolmband.com. We're on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. All of them are either Call Me Malcolm or Call Me Malcolm Band. I think
Twitter is CM Malcolm Band, but the rest are all Call Me Malcolm Band.
Charles Montgomery Band.
Yes.
That's much better. We should have definitely done that.
Okay.
Can we change the handle? Is it
too late to reprint the CDs? Have they already been posted?
I mean, on the basis that I have 500 in my house, yes, it's too late to print the CDs.
Just get a Sharpie out, do it quick, no one will know.
Ooh, I'll do it.
Reprint.
He's brought props.
It's my only prop. It literally is my only prop. I have nothing else in the room with me apart from my chair.
That sounds so sad. I'm in a room with a chair and a Sharpie. It's like the worst escape room ever.
And you're not allowed out until you write the new album.
Oh, you don't want that.
Anyway, that's all I've got. So all I've got left to say is thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast. We have to do this again sometime.
Man. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for having us. Genuinely.
It's been loads of fun.
And thank you for watching at home. Make sure to pick up Me, Myself, and Something Else wherever you listen to good music. Make sure to subscribe for more interviews with other cool ska and punk bands. We've got Real Big Fish. We've got the Burnt Tapes, Harker, all these cool guys. And catch you next time. I'm bad at outros. Bye.